promised to tell you what to do about leukemia as a follow-through. The most important part was putting the tailbone in place. The tailbone will stay in place, provided that the hip structure isn't torqued around or in some way definitively out of place. And if that's true, simply go to a chiropractor or an osteopath and have the hips put in place. Because if the coccyx comes into the sacrum, which is twisted, it doesn't seat right. So if it doesn't seat right, then the coccyx will go out of place again and you'll still have the same problem. And the only other time we find tailbones going out of place is when there's some toxicity in the muscles. This is kind of an extra. If there is arsenic poisoning in the muscle, now arsenic comes from all the pesticide sprays or from cigarette smoke because it had 5 pesticides sprayed on it, on the tobacco, then arsenic in the muscles won't allow the muscles to hold the bones in place. And you keep going back to the chiropractor and you think he's not doing a right good job, or she just doesn't know what she's doing, or chiropractors are just out to lunch. The reality is your muscles are out to lunch because they have an arsenic poisoning in them. Now there is a fairly new discovery we've been finding that sometimes a metal can coagulate in the tailbone or lower sacrum area. There's one in which mercury will collect there. It is the basis for Parkinson's disease, for some forms of multiple sclerosis, but if it's there, your spine and your tailbone can't quite stay in place. If you have nickel collected there, there's often a pain and a burning throughout the body, especially if the body has some cancer in it. And third of all, there's some lead that often coagulates in the same area. Now this has a pretty far-reaching effect because especially if it's mercury, the person who gets recurrent staph infections all of a sudden finds himself unable to get rid of staph. It keeps coming back on him. But if they take out, we use homeopathics to do this, they take out the mercury in the tailbone area, the staph infections seem to just fade away. So there's a lot going on around the ancillary parts of the tailbone being put in place.